Hello everyone, thank you very much for watching today. Sorry, just checking to make sure I am recording and making sure I am on Facebook Live today. So there I am live. So today we're talking about one of my favorite topics. Well, I don't talk too much about this because it's such a hard concept sometimes, the difference between empathy and sympathy. I do this a lot of role playing with agents. I don't use these terms a lot, but I talk to you about how to handle situations, and a lot of my agents that I coach, all my agents out there that are watching this, and some have been with me 20 years plus, some just joined us, but a lot of my day as a broker is helping agents understand where other people are coming from, and having a little empathy or sympathy for the ways they act during the buying or selling a home. So first I'm going to start with the definitions, so you know the definitions. So I in my notes here, it said empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Sympathy, the difference is feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. So in my opinion, empathy is where you want to be as much as possible with your clients and building a connection. So how I see those differences is empathy is really understanding and being in the shoes, putting yourself in their shoes of what they're going through. And again, you probably heard this before, it's hard to be in their shoes if you've never been in those situations. But in real estate, I'll just say this, if you have never been in the positions these buyers or sellers are getting into, and the stress of buying and selling, and the ups and downs of the transaction, but over time, when you deal with it a lot, you get to have more of an understanding. Are you totally there? Do you understand me? Do you see what I'm saying? Is that for doing this for 30 years and talking to buyers and sellers and seeing the situation, as you just come with experience, you have the complete empathy, but you better understand that. So to all my Century 21 Home Star agents, or any agents out there, if you're new, or you have never been in a situation before and you don't have someone else to talk to, well, Century 21 Home Star agents, you got me. But I'm happy to help go through stories and explain to people. Now that's how I view empathy too, is that say something's going wrong with someone, you could sit there, be in their shoes, and tell them a story of how you understand where they're coming from. You've been in their shoes. This is what happened to you, and this is how you dealt with it, and handled it and got out of, if it's a bad situation. So again, empathy is like being right next to them, being connected with them, saying, hey, I know where you're coming from, I've been there, this is how we're going to get you through this situation and handle the situation. Where sympathy is like, so sorry that's happening to you, and you might say, so sorry that's happening to you, but we're going to do this, 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 and this. So it's kind of like sometimes you put a silver lining on that. So sometimes the people that are more sympathetic, which again, they're both good, you have to have some sympathy and empathy, but sometimes you patch it up with just the silver lining without sitting there and getting into deeply with them of what's happening and why they're stressed about certain things. So I'm going to give you some examples. I was just jotting down some examples to show you what you can do and say. Like an example is, if some people, it's simple to us, as realtors, if you're full-time, some of us at jobs, it's very easy for us to take off work. Sometimes we're getting all the way to closing, and we're about to close, and I have had buyers get mad at our sellers, or mad at our agents, and they go, you never told me I had to take off work. I have to take off work to go close? And again, the agent's like, why is it so hard for people to understand? They have to have some sacrifice here, and they're going to have to take off work or take off time to go to the inspection, go to the closing, or have someone come to their office, or to sign papers with you. You might not go They might have a nighttime job or time where you have to go and or make sure the contract. Now it's a little bit easier because we have electronic documents, and if there's a husband and wife, husband could sign here, wife could sign there, and they could sign while they're at work. It's a little bit easier logistically sometimes, but so sometimes I have to talk to agents. You have to have some empathy or sympathy for these because you don't know where they're coming from. They can't take off a day of work because maybe they have barely 2 weeks or 10 days or 14 days, whatever days off they have, and if they take off a day off, they've already planned a family vacation, or they've already planned, they have to take off work for when the move happens. Different things. So sometimes people get stressful, and you got to sit down and just understand and be calm and be empathetic, sympathetic for the situation they're in. Also, getting their finances in order. I've had so many buyers just get fed up with loan officers and get so upset because they keep on asking for things. So you could be empathetic, going to explain and said, listen, if you want to explain to them at the beginning, before they talk to a loan officer, go, listen, I bought a house a few years ago, and I remember the stress it took because I had to go through our financing. We're self-employed. My husband has had a few jobs, or my wife, or my partner, and I've switched jobs, and the money's in the bank, and there's lots of things that this loan officer is about to ask you for, and it might get stressful, but I know what you're going to be going through. Remember, reach out to me. I've been through this process before, because we've had buyers want to quit talking to their loan officer, change loan officers, think it's going to be easier somewhere else because they have to keep on giving information, and they get stressed out, and they might take that stress out on the agent because the agent didn't tell them or forewarn them of all the things they're going to have to do, or when they get stressed out, call the agent, they're frustrated, they don't feel the empathy or sympathy. We just say, just do it. I've had agents, you just have to. So sometimes when you use those words, you just have to, maybe that's about when you say, you just have to, is when we are disconnected. When we, as agents, because we do this a lot and we do this every day, and we have buyers and sellers. Some they get through it easy. Some have a more difficult time. And when we just say, just do it, when you say, just do it, just get them your new pay stubs. Just get them the loan officer. Show them where that deposit came from. Sometimes, so when you feel yourself thinking about saying that, about just do this, just take off work, just do that, just meet me there at this time, anything, just maybe you got to sit back for a second, take a second, step back, go, okay, no, they're coming at it at a different angle. They haven't bought a house in a while. It might be stressful for a different thing. We've had so many, thousands and thousands of sales. We had husbands and wives that don't really understand each other's jobs and incomes. We've had people that just don't understand, hey, I've got $5,000 in the bank. Well, where did it come from? Well, it doesn't matter. I got it. And just get upset. But you have to show them that you understand their concerns, understand where they're coming from. Another one that's coming up recently, that more often, is the trust between a buyer and seller. I've had to talk to several buyers this year, explaining when we're closing a home, and I had to jump in and help our agents out and help explain is that, hey, the sellers are going to be staying in the house a couple days after closing because they need the funds there to close in their house, and they can't get in their house until it closes, and they want to stay here for a few days. And then I've had buyers, how do I trust the seller that they're not going to ruin the house, or something's going to happen, and then I get in there, it's going to be my house, and it's my responsibility, my insurance. And of course, there's a whole nother video of things you can do to help protect your buyer, but sometimes they just don't understand and have to be empathetic to understand. Maybe, and I'm sure some of my agents are watching this and go, I've heard Tony tell me that. So maybe they're just not a trusting person. Things have happened in their lives that they're not trusting, and unless they have a 100% guarantee that the things are going to happen this, and we can never give them that. It's a way of handling people and have that empathy, that understand you're not a trusting person. You're not going to trust anybody unless you have a 100% guarantee. Now, how do we communicate with them, show them, so we have a good relationship with them? So we have to be emotional chameleons. I mean, a lot of you are watching this like, yes, I know, every single client I deal with, totally different experience on how I have to communicate, spend time, understand. Some people are just go, go, go. Just give me the answers. Give me the answers. Give me the answers. Just tell me what to do. And very emotionless and just transactional. And some are like, I want that person that's going to be with me, good or bad. And one of the other things that the one term I like to use sometimes, and it's not even a word. I believe it's not a word. It's the word commiserate. Sometimes buyers, sellers just want us to commiserate with them of the what's going on, their feelings, and bring us into those feelings. Now, it's a fine line of jumping in and just saying and being a cheerleader and helping them commiserate about something, or but a fine line of being empathetic to where they're coming from. So do you follow me on that? I know it's a hard thing for me to explain, but sometimes people are stressed out, there's things happening, and you have to have that fine line of, there might be stressed and not seeing things straight, and going into that with them and agreeing with them instead of being empathetic and showing them how to see clearly of why a situation is what it is and how we're going to get out of it and how it's going to be okay soon or at the end. Hopefully that makes sense, because sometimes I see agents, I have it several times, almost several times a month. I'm on the phone with another agent from another company because they are in that space with the buyer and or seller. They're not empathetic. They're just on there, just being like a cheerleader for them. If you follow me, it's like some agents, I'm like, sure, if you're understanding what I'm saying, you're like, yes, I've had the deal, and the other agent, even though it didn't make sense, they were taking on the emotions of their client, and were just relaying the messages without understanding or have a plan of how we can change this into a better situation and communicate between our client and their client. It's clear in my head, but I know it might not be clear in your head on that. So the bottom line today, I don't want to take up too much of your time. On a Friday, on a holiday Friday, is empathy. Really showing people that you're in their shoes. You've been there. You're going to be with them from start to finish, anytime they're stressed out or anytime there's something that they don't feel is going the right way, or they don't really understand something. You're going to be right next to them, even though it's not physical all the time, and help them walk through it. Not sympathetic like, sympathy is still good, but not as good, in my opinion, as just saying, oh, I understand, I know you're stressed, but we're going to just do this. Just do that. Well, the silver lining is this, but don't worry about that. And some people will be fine with that, but some people won't. They go, I want someone that really understands where I'm coming from and is there with me. And hopefully that makes sense to you in my opinion of the difference between empathy and sympathy. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a great Friday so far. Hope you have a great Friday, and I hope you and your family have a happy and healthy 4th of July weekend. And to all my Century 21 Home Star agents, remember, I'm here. There's no day off for me. I mean, I'm going to be enjoying time with family, but I'm going to have my phone there with me because real estate never stops, even on the holidays. So if you need me, call me, text me, email me anytime. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.